Hello everyone and welcome to another News Coolum video and a weekend, I guess, shopping trip with the little bad boy sniffler over here. Yeah, so power is out right now. They're actually doing line checks, so I'm assuming the power is going to be back on pretty soon. My car is fully charged, you know, the whole ABC always be charging, or at least always be plugged in. I haven't driven recently, so it's just sitting here actually. And you know, sometimes it does this too, where it looks like it fully charged even though Hilltop Reserve mode is on. So I'm not sure what that's about. It could still be part of the BMS relearning after the battery was replaced. Anyway, so the power is out, so I'm gonna go do my shopping anyway. And then TK Media had mentioned something, I think on Blue Sky, he had posted it up, that there's a new site going in Chico, and we're assuming it might be an EV gateway, but I haven't really seen any updates on PlugShare yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and check that out while I'm in Chico. Let's hit the road. Okay, Google. Waffle Country Kitchen, Chico, California.
There's Country Waffles 48 miles away. Want to navigate there?
It's Country Waffles. Yes. Let's hit the road. Waffles. Chargetronix. I was way off. Let's go check it out. All right, so this appears to be, it's not an EV gateway, it's Chargetronix. The name sounds vaguely familiar, but no, I actually don't know that much about them. Just taking a quick look at the site though, it's got some issues. I'll need to take a closer look at the placard. It couldn't bend down all the way to my back. I couldn't bend down all the way to see exactly what the hardware is that they're using. But these are 400 kilowatts, so it's that standard 200 DC amp. Not water-cooled cables. These are just standard 200 amp cables, which makes them pretty heavy, actually. This is kind of the issue even with like the old Chatamo cables that were 200 amps, where they just, like, without the liquid cooling, they're just really heavy, bulky cables. Ironically, the liquid cooled 500 amp cables are actually much lighter and easier to maneuver. These are all CCS1 that I can see. There's not a single Chatamo connector, no J3400. And there's a real ergonomic issue with cable retention and placement. And in fact, you can already see people are using the cable wrap as a means of a retention for the charging head, just because it's getting the cables in and out, especially with them being as low as they are. Actually, there's someone with a Lightning who's coming in, pulling in right now, I think going to try to maybe use these. And I think he can actually get closer than I can. I'm almost to the bump stop, and it's going to be an issue to see if this will even work. I'm looking at the credit card reader for this one, and it doesn't seem to be available. It looks like the NIAX reader is down. They also have an option to do an app, so I don't know if I'm quite ready to charge yet. It looks like the Lightning is charging, so I'll do a different trip here. I'm kind of trying to do some shopping, and you know, I'm almost 80% battery still. So I don't really need to charge right now. So I just wanted to do a quick check. I'll update, you know, PlugShare maybe with a picture or something like that. And then, like I said, the credit card reader on this one that I pulled into isn't even working, so I'm not going to go move to a new one, and I'm not gonna download I'm not gonna download an app right now to try and activate a charge. It also doesn't display the pricing anywhere on the display of the screen, which I think it's required to do per California law, but they're not doing that right now. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think they're going to need to make some adjustments here. Like I said, I wasn't even sure that this site was open. But this is a great shopping plaza just off of Highway 99. It's a busy location in Chico in Northern California, so I'm glad to see it's here. But I'll go onto Chargetronix website and do a little bit more investigating so that I know what to speak to. Maybe when I do a formal site review and then actually try to use these. All right, well, just a quick update. I was chatting with the Lightning driver there for a second. He tried a credit card and then tried the app, and I guess in the app it does tell the price that it's 65 cents per kilowatt hour with a $20 reserve balance. So he passed on it, I passed on it. Yeah, just don't need to charge here. We were talking about app fatigue and everything else. So it's nice to see these here in Chico. It gives more options, but it would also be nice to just have the option to swipe a credit card, use it, and that even I moved over to this other stall, and even with this credit card reader that's working, there's no, it just canceled the transaction once you got started. So hopefully Chargetronix can get this sorted out. Hopefully no apps. And then the other thing is too, I realized these cables are even heavier. These are the 350 amp just air-cooled cables, which is completely unnecessary for these chargers. They could save money and a significant amount of weight and size by just using the 200 amp cables. And that way, it won't fully compensate for the ergonomics of these chargers, but it will do a little bit. So, and then the other thing is too, we're on the other side of Highway 99 are the EVgo chargers that weren't working the last time I was here. They've been offline for months and months and months waiting parts. So maybe I'll go check those out before I head over and do my shopping. But yeah, these are still down. I don't see the screen up. Yeah. Not sure exactly what's wrong with this equipment, right? Like why they haven't been able to get it up and running. You know, the cables all seem fine. Doesn't seem like anybody did anything to the cables. Just no. I wonder if it maybe has something to do with a faulty transformer or something, because like I said, these really should be up and running at this point, and I don't think that EVgo has ever given any sort of a formal explanation as to why these aren't like the. So to me, there's really only two possibilities. It's either something with the actual power drop itself, transformer from the grid, something to do with the service, or it's something that's sort of like administrative, right? Like they just haven't been able to sort out who's paying the power bill. But this looks like it was a dedicated transformer for EVgo and for this site, and their power drop is separate. It appears to me to be that case. So I don't see why this, you know, they should be able to meter it separately. Yeah, they should be able to meter it separately, and I don't know why that wouldn't be the case. So I'm not seeing the exact size of the transformer either, but this is saying it's a 1200 amp service. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully maybe someone from EVgo can chime in for why this has been down for months and months and months, and they say it's a required repair. So yeah, just not sure exactly what's going on here. Shopping is done as far as Chico is concerned, but we still have quite a few stops left to make. I do want to swing back by the potential GM Energy EVgo location in Orland on I-5 before we head up. So let's head out. But I guess that is a point to bring up, is because I have the doggo with me, because it's, well, I mean, it's only 70, but still with windows and things like that, I leave the AC on basically the whole time. So the whole length of this trip, both driving and stop, the AC is running, and we're still averaging 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour. So we're not doing too bad. When we head back uphill again, though, that'll drop off, I'm sure, and then plus 75 mile an hour freeway for a spell will also do a number on the efficiency. But let's stop talking about it. Let's start doing it. I did a quick stop here at the Pilot Flying J, or I guess just Pilot in Orland. Yeah, I mean, it's still, you know, there's construction happening, but there's just not a whole lot going on. And like I said, a lot of this looks like it's more interior. I know they're doing some upgrades and things like that. So it looks like even the Wendy's is closed right now. No drive-through, no store. They have all the chairs on the sidewalk. So I'm not quite sure. I think, again, like I said, it's possible that there's some charging construction that's going to go on sort of in conjunction with this, but I haven't seen anything specifically charging related yet. There are a couple of cabinets over on the far side over there that look like they could be electronics related, but they're doing everything. It looks like they're doing a full overhaul, pulling out washers and dryers. Like I said, they're renovating the actual Wendy's here, the kitchen. So it's possible that this is all part of one big construction suite, or it's possible that they need to do the sort of site updates and improvements first, and then once they're done with that opens up this area where they have all this construction equipment, and they could put in a very large, compelling charging station over on this end, which is kind of like an annex, and I've called it out before, and I think that's probably the location where they should put in charging if they are going to. And I mean, my recommendation for Pilot and then, the GM Energy with EVgo is on these highly trafficked corridors, in particular places like California, Oregon, Washington, along I-5. That's a very heavily trafficked corridor and high EV ownership. They would probably benefit from significantly more than just 4 stalls. In Northern California, maybe you could get away with it if you consider it kind of rural, but realistically, 6 to 8 stalls minimum for I-5, especially once you get farther south in California. And I know they are not doing that, but I'm just saying that they should. So this is that argument of coverage versus what I call concentration, right? The number of chargers per site. And it's a debate. And I mean, I can't argue that you want to get coverage first. Coverage is more, in many ways, more important than concentration. If you can do them both at the same time, that's ideal. If this is a for-profit, ROI-driven, even then you might want to do them at the same time, because the irony with charging stations is the fewer the chargers are there, the worse the ROI, because you don't get as much traffic as you would normally, because people are going to go to larger charging sites as a priority first. And so even though you put a lower initial investment in, it takes you longer to pay it off because fewer people are prioritizing that site. So If you have 8 to 10 to 12 stalls, you're probably more likely to see, 30 to 40% regular usage rate than if you only have 4 stalls, where you might be lucky to see a 20 to 25% regular usage rate. So you actually increase, you create your own demand at that point by placing more chargers in a single location, because it increases confidence and increases traffic. So, all right, well, I'm here at the Willows Walmart, and just one more step along the journey. I took a moment to let the dog walk, but I was going to plug in just as a convenience charge, but it looks like one of the 350s and possibly one of the 150 kilowatt chargers are down, and there's a queue. So I still have 50% battery, so I'm not gonna fret about it too much, but yeah, I'm just gonna go on. I should have plenty of juice, but there's still more shopping to do. But I got most of the stuff done. Now it's just probably another 50, 100 miles left, maybe 150. I don't know what it is, but we'll figure it out. Let's hit the road. Got my shopping done here in town, and got my fishing license, so hopefully we should have some other adventures in queue. But it's time to start heading back, and I'm gonna take a bit of an angle away from home before I head back up into the mountains. I actually should just be able to head straight home right now, but like I said, I'm down here, so I'm going to go check out the Electric Era site in Williams, and then probably plug in for about 5 to 10 minutes on the 50 kilowatt EVgo there in town, just to validate that it works, but then also just make sure that I don't run into any issues heading up the mountains. So let's get back on the road. All right, well, unfortunately, there really isn't any progress here at the Electric Era in Williams. This is one of those issues, right, with California, is between the permitting and our local utilities. They aren't always the greatest, certainly aren't Johnny on the spot with getting transformers, and that's really often one of the biggest holdups. So I forgot to ask when I had actually met the guy from Tate who was doing the contracting for Electric Era to just get these installed, doing the trenching and things like that. And I forgot to ask because I didn't realize, I thought they were filling it in, but he was leaving, leaving town when I talked to him. So I guess it seems like they're just leaving this fenced off, and they're not going to fill in the trenching or repave it. It's really just like chiplap, right, or asphalt. But they're not going to resurface the parking lot, I don't think, until they get the transformer in and get all of the conduits and wire and drops verified. That's my guess anyway. So yeah, we're just going to have to wait for the site to get power. Yeah, so 4 200 kilowatt split power units, 8 stalls. Could sure use them today. That would be nice, but I'm going to jump over to the EVgo, just confirm that it works, and I still have over 25% charge, so I should be pretty good to go. So let's hit the road again. Interesting. I don't know if this is a new thing for EVgo. I'll have to check PlugShare. Looks like they have maybe an extra off. These are the BTC power, so I wonder, hopefully maybe they're looking to upgrade these sites, because I think I saw something similar with the blue plate in Orland, but I saw that the screen was brighter, but I didn't stop by the site, so maybe I should have, because actually this looks like it's powered down as well. So I wonder if this is like a lease agreement thing. So, well, I mean, unfortunately there are no other chargers that I'm going to use in the immediate area. There's no public chargers that I care to use in any way, that I want to frequent or do business with. So yeah, I guess I'll have to see what EVgo has to say about this, but kind of disappointing from EVgo. you know, between that site in Chico that's been down for ages and they haven't been able to get up, and then this one, you know, I'm really hoping that it seems like everything, almost everything outside of the GM Energy partnership and maybe the Toyota partnership is just kind of falling apart for EVgo. So hopefully they can kind of figure out what's going on with that and fix it. But I guess we're gonna head back. You can make it, right? Right? Wow. We'll see. It's not too bad. Decent weather, so it'll just be AC and the vertical climb that will be impacting any sort of you know, efficiency we have. All right, well, we made it. No real issues. It's about time for the little guy to eat, so he's getting pretty antsy. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that, take care of the shopping and the groceries and all of the things. So interesting trip. I mean, I didn't really end up charging at all. 197 miles. Like I said, this has been weird. It's been charging a little bit past the Hilltop Reserve. But I don't know how much more it's added. So I still have 15% left, it looks like, with 52 kilowatt hours used. So it's got to be somewhat close to that. Little bit disappointed in EVgo. Like I said, maybe I'm going to need to check on that Orland site as well. Because the blue plate site, I think it might also be down like the one in Williams, which could just be an issue maybe even with those 50 kilowatt BTC power units. They're underpowered anyway for a highway site or a freeway site, and I've never experienced BTC Power as the most reliable charging hardware provider. So maybe they're just struggling to keep them up, and maybe they're making a transition to replace them with different hardware. I mean, even if they did something like use something like ChemPower or whatever, where it's, you know, 50 kilowatt per stack, but the ability to transfer it from one position to another, that would be a huge, you know, boost in just having a regular 50 kilowatt right off of an interstate. So, and then Chargetronix, again, like I said, I'm done with apps at this point. If you know, we're in California, or I'm in California, payment terminals are required, right? And I'm not going to set up an app when I should just be able to use my credit card reader. Now, I understand that site technically isn't even officially open yet, so I'll give them a little bit of grace there. But if their app and setting up their app is going to require a $20 deposit, and yeah, that's just not happening. So I'll keep an eye out on that Chargetronix site. Like I said, I have some feedback. It's not the greatest site in terms of just there's some little things with the design that maybe are obvious to me as a veteran EV owner and EV driver, that maybe someone, you know, who's new to EV charger design, EV site design, maybe doesn't realize. And so yeah, I definitely have some criticisms of it, and then yeah, we're just waiting for power for that electric Arrow, which would have been another great one to do. But like I said, this is just more of my local run around. I normally don't ever charge on this anyway, so I went out of my way on several different occasions just to check out charging sites and see what their status is while I did my normal grocery run. But that's why I got the Bolt EV, is so I could do a run like this and never have to worry, because at the time there just really wasn't that much public charging up here. Now that there are options, it's a little bit more, you know, free and loose, but at the same time, those options aren't always working. So anyway, I hope you found this interesting. Just like a little slice of life in the day of an EV owner, doing some shopping while the power was out. Actually, I guess I should check and make sure maybe the power went back on again and my car will charge. So thank you for watching. Charging.